Hello again, guys. It's Corey here. We're going to go ahead and remove and replace these 4 injectors today on this Cruze Diesel. You can see them right down in there. But first, before you start, disconnect your battery. I just pulled the negative terminal off. Leave it sit there. So the first thing I'm going to do is disconnect each one of these electrical connectors. You can see this whitish color plastic piece on top here. This is going to pull out towards you. You might need a screwdriver to get under there. And then that connector should pull straight out. Alright, get your screwdriver, put it behind this white plastic piece. Pull it out like that, and get your hand here and pull it out like that. And it's pretty much the same for every one. The 2 on the very ends are the same. These 2 here, this is connected in one solid piece here. I did undo this turbo line. This goes to the turbo. Alright, you're going to need a 13mm deep well to remove these 2 things right here. This is what the cover snaps onto, this one and this one over here. So we need to remove these. Just be careful not to lose them. And this one here. Yeah, I have these disconnected. This is disconnected. I just need to pull this out as well as this one. Alright, so I got this disconnected. It was just a pain. I had to grab on here a little tighter than I was, and it came out. So you could just leave this sit right here. You don't need to disconnect this. It's out of the way. So just tuck that sticker out of the way there, or that tag. And now we can go ahead and proceed to remove these fuel lines. So these are the return lines right here. So this black plastic piece, as you can see there, this will pop up and allow you to pull this fuel line off the top of the injector. So I'm going to do that now, pull those off, and I'll show you how that goes. Okay, here we have the first return line I'm going to remove. You stick your screwdriver underneath this black plastic piece, pull it up like that, and we'll do that the rest of the way down. The best way to do this is to stick your screwdriver behind and lift up. You might need to use your other hand. This is tough here because of this. You'll hear it click like so, and just lift up. Alright, I'll get some rags ready. You don't know if anything's going to come out of here or not. So, get a rag like that, and we'll slowly remove these lines. Yeah, just a little bit of drippage, not much. They just pop right off. Okay. Now that we have all those removed, we can just swing this out of the way. Find a good spot to put it. Keep the rag there. Guess we can just do that for now. It's only temporary. Okay, that gives us room. Here now we can go ahead on the next step and remove these fuel lines. Alright, so what you'll need is a 17mm fuel injector line socket. As you can see, it's cut out like that. so that you can slide the socket over top and right onto the fuel line like that, right on that nut there. That allows you to loosen every one of these. Now these are all 17 millimeter. These up here are 18 millimeter. And what you'll need for those is this, this is called a flare nut wrench. As you can see, that fits right over there because it has that cutout in it. So you slide that right over top and crack those lines. So once you crack these nuts, you don't need to take them off the whole way. Just crack them, and that'll allow you to, once you get these nuts off, just spin the line up, and that'll keep it out of the way while you remove the injector. So I'll show you that here shortly. These are loose. Last one. Okay, now we can start here with these lines. Just remember, when you're doing this, you can't go crazy just because you have a line here, so you can only go so far and it stops. But it doesn't take much to break these loose. Once it's loose, you just unscrew that. You'll see some fuel come out a little bit, and then lift the line up out of the way like this. And then what you can do to keep it out of the way is you can tighten this nut down by hand like that, and it'll stay up out of the way. Allow you to have more room to pull the injector out when you're ready. And just continue on down the line. It doesn't take much to break these loose. Okay, now we're going to have to remove these hold downs for each injector. We'll need a T45 torque style bit there. This fits in here perfectly. You want to make sure it is T45 because you don't want to round off these heads or strip them. I have this one loose already. Okay, that's about how long the hold down bolt is. It's a little tricky to get this out of here. And that's what the hold down looks like. Just do that for each one. Okay, now we can attempt to remove these injectors. What you need to do is clean this area up real good around the injector. You want any debris getting down in that into the cylinder area. So I also sprayed some penetrant oil down around each injector to help it soak for a few minutes. It's a good time to take a break. Spray it up, go take a break, come back. Now, I do not have an injector puller. An injector puller would thread right on top here where the nut went, and then you'd have like a slide hammer on it, and it would like break it free and shock it loose. But if you look down here, there are actually flat spots on the injector itself. On each one, I couldn't get this hold down out, by the way. There's not enough room. It won't slide up through here, which is kind of dumb. But anyway, if you look at the injector, let's see if I can get down in here, it has flat spots on it. Move this line. Now a 13 millimeter wrench will fit around that. And if you take your open-ended wrench, 13 millimeter, it'll fit around that injector. So what you do is wiggle it back and forth while holding it right here and lifting up, and it will break free. I already got this one started and it'll come right out. So that's what it looks like. You can see all the soot and everything on the end there. This is a bad looking injector. And this vehicle has 128,000 miles on it. So these were due to be replaced. So these are junk. Set these aside and just continue on down the line. There we go. Just do that same thing with the other two. And if you can do that, you'll be good. That's the hardest part, I'd say. I had to get my pliers out for this last injector because I can't get my 13 millimeter wrench on because that hold down's in there and I can't get that hold down out. It won't come out of there. So I have my adjustable pliers on there like that. And I just grabbed on the outside of that plastic on top of the injector and just started twisting back and forth like so and pulling up, and there it goes. The problem with this stupid hold down here . There it goes. Alright. That was the last one. So that's it for that. Now we have to clean up the area really well and get ready for the new injectors. Alright, before I install these injectors, what I'm going to do is clean out each one of these holes and make sure there aren't any pieces of dirt or any kind of debris that fell down in there when I was removing these injectors. So what I have is this Shark vacuum cleaner with this adapter on the end, and this actually fits right down in there perfectly. So this works out really well. Just fire this sucker up and take the end, insert it right down in here. Suck up anything that might have fallen down in and do this for each hole. Works pretty well. Okay guys, here's the new injector. And here's the part number. So what they did was they shipped it with these protective coverings over the threads here for the inlet fuel line, and the return line has this little rubber protective cover over top. I'm going to leave those on until I'm ready to install. And this protects the nozzle. So this just slides right off here, and there's the nozzle. Be very, very careful with these when you go to install. You don't want to bang these or nick these up or anything, and do not drop them. So I'm going to go ahead and start probably on this left side here. This is going to be the most difficult one because of that stupid hold down. So I'm going to go ahead and start here, and make sure that you don't drop any dirt or anything down in there, and if you do, get the vacuum and suck it out of there. Okay, I have the new injector in place here. It's just loose right now, but you have to put the hold down on the back side of it here as you're sliding it down into place. You have to wiggle it back and forth until you get the sweet spot, and then it'll drop the rest of the way in. And now I can go ahead and line my hold down bolt there up and thread that in. So I'm going to do that, thread that in there loosely, and continue on down the line here. Okay, I have all of the injector hold down bolts tightened and the injectors pulled down into place. I do not know the exact torque specs. I just did it by feel. However tight they were when they came out, that's kind of what I put them back in at. So try to do a little research if you need to know the exact torque specs. I do not know them. But I'm going to go ahead and proceed here, install these hard fuel lines. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the protective covering there. Be careful, do not get any dirt inside here at all. Leave this protective cover on for the return line until you're ready to connect those. So I'll do one at a time. So we'll take our hard fuel line and swing it down into position. Make sure this end here is clean. You might want to wipe it real quick with a rag and make sure that it's clean, and then swing it down in position and tighten your nut. I'm going to do each one of these. Just tighten them by hand first, and then I'll go through in the end and tighten them down. So just work your way around. Okay, now we can go through and tighten everything up. Get your 18mm wrench, tighten the lines up at the fuel rail. Then get your socket. Slide it over that nut there and tighten each one of these up. This socket's a must-have for this job. All right, that does it for that. Now we can connect the return line. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove these protective covers. I'll take the return line. We'll start on the right first. And line this up. Push it down over top. And line the next one up. Keep on working your way towards the end here. Make sure these are all popped up. Okay. Now that that's on there like so, look on the back here. You see this part right here, it's a heavier piece of plastic. You just push down on that until you hear it, you'll feel it to snap into place. There we go. It's a little click. Last one. Okay, those are all on. Now you take this top piece and push it down into position. That kind of locks it into place. Okay, that takes care of the fuel return line. Now we can connect the electrical connector. Move this rag out of the way. And bring this up into position. Start with this one. Push it in until you hear the click. These two in the center here, you gotta kind of line up together. Push these in together. Both clicked in. Once they all click in, then you push these top pieces in to lock them. You hear another click. And then don't forget these studded bolts there. Remember, get your 13mm deep well for these guys. You don't have to tighten these up super tight. And then this line for the turbo, secure it back into its position here. And that is it, guys. Everything's secure. So I'm going to go ahead and fire it up now and check for leaks, and hope to God we don't have any. Don't forget to reconnect your battery terminal. Nice and secure. Now we can fire it up. Alright guys, it took a while to start up. It needed to purge the air in the lines. So you might want to cycle the key off and on a few times to get the air out, and then it'll fire up. Everything looks pretty good. It's a good idea to change your fuel filter so you have clean fuel going to these new injectors as well. I already did mine before I started this, so just a little tip. Well guys, thanks for watching, and check out all my other Cruze Diesel videos. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.